So I have been loud as fuck on this app about the motif of three and how it essentially haunts ACOTAR, even from book one, where we have this little friend group of Lucian, Feyre, and Tamlin. So regardless of how the ship war shakes out, we are still dealing in the motif of three and the three brothers and the three sisters. Like, this is a story about Crochet. We're getting three brothers and three sisters. But I would like to push back on the idea that Asriel and Elaine would be the most boring option here, because again, I really do think that there's a lot of different ways that this story could go that would not feel like a rehash of Nesta and Feyre's story. I will also go even further and say that Nesta's story feels like a rehash of Feyre's story, not necessarily because of the motif of three, but because Sarah likes to rely on a training arc just a little bit too much. So when it comes to like theory crafting and the ship war, I have a hard time with the theories that pull focus away from the three sisters, because again, this is a story with the motif of three. This is the first iteration of three that we get in the entire story, and I would argue that it's the most important. And not to keep clowning on the Gwyn reels here, I feel really bad about this, but when I hear stuff like, oh, the next book is going to be about one of the sisters' husband's buddy coworker guy and the other sister's friend from the last book, I have to question why. Because at the end of the day, this is a story about three sisters. So regardless of the way that this story shakes out, I do think that the next iteration of this story is going to be Elaine, especially considering the stuff that Sarah was talking about in Call Her Daddy, where like the story is coming out in like this strange, very long-winded kind of way. It kind of implies to me that we're going to be going back and forth in time, and the story is not going to be told in the linear way, which is super duper interesting to me. I am a diehard Gideon the Ninth fan, and Harrow the Ninth had me by the balls. I could definitely see like a story about Elaine shaking out like Harrow the Ninth, where most of it is told in second person and we're going back and forth, and like there's like the main storyline going on, and then like we're talking to God because we can. So even if I'm wrong and Elaine and Lucian are actually endgame, it still fits in with the motif of three, because it's three sisters falling in love with three mates. And Elaine is like a little break in the pattern because Lucian is not one of the bad bros. I think if Asriel and Elaine were mates and then it was kind of like this weird bantery, like Nessian kind of situation, then yes, I do agree with you. It would absolutely be a rehash, and I would honestly be really upset because I love Asriel and Elaine, and I would hate to see them go down like Nessian. Like, I'd rather be wrong than see Elriel go down like that. But because Lucian and Elaine are mates, it is a deviation from the pattern for Elaine and Lucian to have, or Elaine and Asriel to have a story. Either way, it's a deviation from like this nice, neat, clean rehashing of each other's stories. So I don't think that the Elaine story is going to be a regurgitation of Nesta's, who is in turn a regurgitation of Feyre's, because the dynamics between Elaine and Lucian and Elaine and Asriel are different. So the idea that we would not want to see an Elaine story is strange to me, because no matter what the end goal is, like no matter what the end game couple is, we are still getting something different. We are either getting a story about two reluctant mates who find each other amidst a backdrop of like insane geopolitics, or we are getting a story about a girl who falls in love with a boy and they have a mating bond sitting between them that they don't want, or maybe even two mating bonds, we're not even sure, and they have to fight to be together, and it could just be so beautiful, guys. This wouldn't be your same old training arc banter, all that nonsense. It's not going to be any of that. I think regardless of how this love triangle shakes out, it is going to be different. It is going to be yearning beyond yearning. I love all three of them. I want that to be clear. I know I'm like very team Elriel here, but I would absolutely eat up an Aleutian book. I write fanfic now, and more of it is Aleutian than you would think. Speaking personally, as long as this doesn't turn into a training arc, as long as I don't get Akamath for the fourth time, which is Akamath, Akasif, Heir of Fire, and then whatever this book would be, that would be another training arc. As long as we don't get that, I think it would be a really lovely deviation from what we've gotten, even if it is a culmination of the same or similar tropes, whether Elaine gets with her mate or she gets with this Illyrian dude bro. Either way, she's doing something different. Either way, she has choices that her sisters don't. And it really sucks for them because Elaine got the better end of the deal here. And the reason I say that is because Asriel and Lucian are worth something, and the other love interests are kind of shitty.